UFC 312, Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland 2 just ended, and this is going to be my full UFC 312 post-fight. We're going to talk about Du Plessis versus Strickland 2. Strickland putting on the most pathetic title challenger performance I've seen in ages. But then again, we got to talk about the co-main event, Weili Zhang defending her title against Tatiana Suarez. And then we're going to get into the rest of the card. We're going to discuss every single fight on the card in chronological order. We're going to get into that main card. You guys all want to hear me talk about Justin Tafa versus Talison Teixeira, Rodolfo Bellato versus Jimmy Crute. I know you guys are just pining away to hear me discuss those fights, but we're going to start with the prelims first. By the way, guys, if you enjoy these post-fights, then do me a favor, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here's the thing, guys, man. I'm going to go to war for you guys here, okay? First fight of the night, we have Quinlan Salkilld versus Anshul Jubli. Quinlan Salkilld, first round KO. I think Jubli landed like one shot to the body. I think Salkilld landed one leg kick before he lands a picture-perfect right hand. Sends Jubli to the canvas like he got hit by a sniper. But then he immediately wakes up and he starts getting in on a takedown. The referee jumps in. Horrible stoppage. Atrocious stoppage. Instead of actually stopping the fight, essentially just peeling him apart. I will defend the ref a little bit. Even though it is a horrible stoppage, I think once the right hand landed and Jubli fell like a dead body, the referee had already decided to step in. And in that split second, Jubli woke up and got in on a takedown. So it should not have been stopped, but I do kind of understand why the referee stopped it. Because of the way Jubli fell, he thought basically he was a sack of potatoes. Let me stop the fight. But man, Jubli, people had hopes of, oh, we got the first fighter from India, and then he gets barked at and finished by Mike Breeden. Then he gets slumped by Salkilld, and I don't know if he's going to get another fight in the UFC at this point. So good win by Salkilld in his home country. He gets it done, sleeps Anshul Jubli, even though he didn't really. It was really a TKO. I think they did call it a TKO live by Bruce Buffer. But yeah, Salkilld gets it done. Maybe he would have finished it anyway. Would have liked to see it go a little bit longer. Next fight on the card. What do we have? We have Jonathan Micallef versus Kevin Jousset. Jonathan Micallef wins via unanimous decision. I don't know if you guys saw Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz, where Jan Blachowicz just battered his body. Jonathan Micallef did that, just absolutely bodied him to the body with nasty body kicks. But then he also mixed in the head kicks. First round, dropped him with a head kick. Second round, stung him with multiple head kicks. When he wasn't kicking him in the head, he was kicking him to the body. Eventually, Micallef kind of worn down a little bit, and Jousset knew he was down on the scorecard, so he went for it in the third round. It was a competitive third round, but Jousset landed better shots. I scored the third round for Jousset. But really, it was just Jonathan Micallef kind of circling around the cage, Jousset not really cutting him off, and couldn't defend a body kick to save his life. Micallef was chopping to the legs a little bit, but really going after the body. Body, boom, head. Body, boom, head. And was just lighting him up with the head kick. I mean, Jousset looks like he's never seen a head kick in his life. A head kick to Kevin Jousset is a double leg takedown against Marab to Tim Welch is essentially what I saw there. So you have Kevin Jousset lose via unanimous decision. I think it was 29-28. I don't remember for sure. I scored it 29-28. Next fight on the card, we have Rongzhu versus Kody Steele. Rongzhu wins via unanimous decision. I mean, the synopsis of this fight, first round, Steele was having some moments, even got a really easy, I think it was a double leg takedown that had Tim Welch scratching his head, but then gets reversed easily, ends up scrambling back to his feet, Rongzhu does. And Rongzhu's just tagging him, hurt him multiple times in the first round, I think with a left hook. They were both swinging wildly, but Kody Steele was very rarely getting through. He was mainly landing on the arms of Rongzhu. Rongzhu was tagging him up, man, just touching him up to the chin. Second round hurt him badly with a jab. Steele had some moments, but mainly he was just throwing combinations that were landing on the arms. I mean, Rongzhu had some damage under his eye, and then third round was just more of the same. Very wild fight. But it was more of, there's a scenario where maybe if the fight played out a little bit different, a little bit closer fight, that the judges could mess it up for Kody just because of the amount he threw at the forearms of Rongzhu. But man, Rongzhu was just battering him on the feet, was even taunting him a little bit in the third round, like kind of shuffling his feet and laughing at him. Kody Steele was going for it though, and he did land some good shots, but got hurt badly and dropped badly by a jab. Then there was like a leg entanglement. I think Steele used like a heel hook attempt to get back to his feet. And it was just, Rongzhu was just the better striker and just had more power. And Steele was just getting tagged. He did have good recovery, though. I will give him that. But Rongzhu wins via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, the very first prelim, okay, in a weird way, because we're talking early prelims and prelims. We have Kody Thicknesse versus Alexandre Topuria. Topuria wins via unanimous decision. I think a lot of people, I don't know for sure, but I think a lot of people are going to say underwhelming performance for Alexandre Topuria because of the big kind of promise put on his shoulder because his brother is Ilia Topuria. I thought Kody, Thicknesse looked decent. I believe it was 30-27. I believe I scored all 3 rounds for Topuria. He didn't look great in the 3rd round, but 1st round hurt him with a right hand. 1st and 2nd round was ripping to the body. 3rd round, Thicknesse was throwing decent volume, but not landing a whole lot. And then 3rd round, he was looking for ugly takedowns and getting sprawled on. And then Topuria would take his back for a little bit, do a little bit of ground and pound, and then Thicknesse would scramble back to his feet. I do think, based on the skill level the UFC's letting in the UFC nowadays, I think Thicknesse does deserve, to get a shot in the UFC, which I believe he will because this was a short notice fight for him. Topuria's hands look decent. His grappling looked okay. I mean, it's too early to tell. He's now 6-1 after the win over Kody Thicknesse, but had some decent power. I don't know that he showed a whole lot in this fight. We'll have to see how good Kody is in the future. He's fighting in the Kentucky State Fair prior to this, but I think Topuria. Look, I don't want to doubt him already because we really don't know a whole lot about him. But usually guys that get hyped up because of their training partners or because who their brother is or whatever, usually it never pans out. So I don't have a crazy amount of promise. But we'll have to see. His boxing looked pretty good. He had decent power, had him hurt a couple times, was ripping to the body, loved the body shots, was ripping the right hand to the body throughout the fight. Had some good leg kicks as well, hurt him with a leg kick in the 2nd round. And he gets it done over Kody Thicknesse for his UFC debut. It's his UFC debut. So we'll just have to see how he does in the UFC. But Topuria gets it done over Kody Thicknesse. Next fight on the card, we have Wang. I forgot how. I think they were calling her Wang Cong. We'll call her Wang Cong versus Bruna Brasil because I don't remember the pronunciation. They've changed it so many times. Listen, I mean, Bruna Brasil just got outstruck the entire fight, basically. They were trading leg kicks. Cong was landing better with her hands. There was a late takedown in the 1st round for Wang Cong. And then after the 1st round, which was mildly competitive where Wang Cong clearly won, 2nd and 3rd round, she was just tagging her. She even hurt her a couple times with good shots. She was walking her down, beating her up. Bruna Brasil would occasionally land a shot. I think in the 3rd round as well, Bruna Brasil got taken down for a little bit, maybe towards the end of the round, I think it was. And it was just Wang Cong or Wang Tong, whatever the hell her name is. Wonton, I don't know. I'm trying to remember, but I'm going to call her Wang Cong because that's how you would sound it out. But it's not that. I think it's Wang Cong or Wang Tong. But now I'm spending more time on the pronunciation of her name for a fight you guys don't care about. She beat her up. She outstruck her. She leg kicked her. Bruna Brasil looked like she didn't want to be there. She's running away at multiple points throughout the fight, just turning and running Chelsea Chandler style. And she got dominated. She lost 30-27. Unanimous decision win for Wang Cong. Next fight on the card, we have Tom Nolan versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. Look, Tom Nolan outstruck him, man. Outstruck him, outgrappled him, was landing good combinations. Borshchev wasn't really able to be super effective. At one point, Tom Nolan jumped on his back in the 1st round, but wasn't really able to do much with it. Borshchev was able to scramble out and end up back up. Nolan was just kind of picking him apart on the feet. Borshchev was moving forward, throwing big combinations, but Nolan was moving well. Nolan landed a good step-in elbow and I think a step-in knee in the 2nd round. Throwing too many spinning attacks in the 2nd round when he looks like he's starting to get tired. Tom Nolan got a takedown in the 2nd round. Initially he was stuffed, then he got to the cage, was able to get it down. Started looking for a choke at one point, but then eventually Borshchev scrambled back up. And I think Nolan landed, it was on his back for a little bit, getting leg kicked, as he's laying on his back and Borshchev standing up, and then Nolan landed a couple up kicks to the head, and then 3rd round was pretty much the same. Tom Nolan winning on the feet, shot an ugly takedown that failed to end up on his back for a little bit, but he did more damage from his back. So I mean, you could maybe give the 3rd round to Borshchev, but I had the 3rd round even for Tom Nolan as well because he landed some good up kicks. He was throwing elbows from the back. He was clearly tired, kind of resting on bottom in the 3rd round for maybe half of the round. But Tom Nolan gets it done, outstrikes, outgrapples Vyacheslav Borshchev, and gets the unanimous decision win. Next fight on the card. This was a great fight. This was the best prelim. This was the fight I was really looking forward to on the prelims. We have Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. Gabriel Santos gets it done. Third round submission, rear naked choke. Great fight. Jack Jenkins hurts him early with a head kick. Drops him. Santos starts scrambling for submissions, but while he's scrambling for submissions, he's eating ground and pound shots. Almost gets a triangle. It looks like it's tight. Jack Jenkins scrambles out. Referee's looking at him. Jack Jenkins fights out of it. Eventually, Gabriel Santos gets back up, gets a takedown of his own, does a little bit of damage. Was throwing like knees to the body from like half guard, which I thought was pretty impressive because he was actually getting some decent momentum on it. Jenkins still won the first round. Hurt him badly. Followed him to the ground. Did some decent ground and pound. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. So first round for Jack Jenkins, pretty sure, or pretty clear. Not pretty sure, definitely sure. Second round, both guys were landing okay shots. Then Santos got an easy takedown. Ground and pound, elbows, controlling him, looking for an arm triangle. Referee's complaining. I swear the referee was biased for Australian fighters. Australian privilege. Santos landing good ground and pound, controls him the entire round. Then the third round, a Spartan kick to the chin by Gabriel Santos hurts Jack Jenkins. Then Jack Jenkins somehow like gets back up, like he stumbles, gets back up against the fence. Jack Jenkins just like falls to his hands and knees. Santos jumps on his back. Jenkins stands up. He uses a half Nelson just to break Jenkins down to the ground. He's still hurt. Boom. Santos locks up a rear naked choke. Jack Jenkins tries to survive, but it's super deep, and Santos finishes him in the third round via rear naked choke. Great win from Gabriel Santos. Fun fight to watch. Honestly, it's not fight of the night. I think Rongzhu got that because it was, let's throw like a bar fight. This should have been fight of the night. Momentum swings. Both guys look really good. Crazy finish. Great win from Gabriel Santos. You have to remember, man, he had a close fight with Lerone Murphy on short notice. And I think, he's a very, very good fighter. I've said I thought Gabriel Santos could be a future top 15 contender in the featherweight division. He gets it done over Jack Jenkins. I have a history of picking against Jack Jenkins. I picked against him against Chepe Mariscal. I'm trying to remember who else. I can imagine their face right now. Jamal Emmers. I also picked Jamal Emmers, but obviously I was wrong on that. But I thought actually Emmers won that. But Gabriel Santos gets it done over Jack Jenkins via third round rear naked choke. Next fight on the card. Oh my God, this is the main card opener. 2025 pay-per-view main card opener. Oh my God. We have Jimmy. Oh no, that's not the right fight. Somehow this didn't open the right fight. I swear I clicked on the right fight. We have Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Jake Matthews wins via unanimous decision, 30-27 decision. What's there to say? Jake Matthews outstruck him the entire fight. I mean, was landing good shots. When Prado did clinch up, he was like ripping uppercuts. Prado was landing some good leg kicks. That's really the only thing he did. I mean, I don't... Outside of that, I mean, the first round he got a takedown, didn't do much with it. Second round he landed some leg kicks. Had some clinch, work, a little bit of control, but Matthews just landing the better shots, ripping to the body. There was a head clash that opened up Prado in the second round, but Jake Matthews outstriking him. Third round, Jake Matthews hurt him multiple times, landed good left hands, was just boxing him up and beating him up in the third round. I had all three rounds for Jake Matthews. The story of the fight was Prado had a great chin, but really couldn't get off at all. That's it. I mean, Jake Matthews showed up. Jake Matthews is very inconsistent. Sometimes he shows up, he looks like a world beater. Sometimes he shows up, looks like a complete bum. This time he showed up on what should have been an early prelim, but it was a main card opener on a pay-per-view in 2025 of UFC 312. And he gets it done via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card. This isn't going to be a very long post-fight. I'm not going to go 10 minutes in depth in fights that are just like kind of low level. We have Jimmy Crute versus Adolfo Bellato. We have a draw. We have a majority draw. I believe one judge scored it for Jimmy Crute. Bruce Buffer didn't say who they scored it for. I would assume it had to be Jimmy Crute. First round, Bellato looked for a weird takedown, slammed Crute's head on the mat, but Crute ended up in full mount immediately. Every time he tried to scramble, he ate ground and pound. He gets up towards the end of the round, gets hurt badly, almost finished, barely survives. So it's a 10-8 first round for Jimmy Crute, complete and utter domination. But I knew at the end of the first round he was exhausted. Now, second round was close, but Crute was just exhausted. Bellato was chopping the legs, hurt him with a leg kick late, but really didn't go after him. It was a close round. I thought Bellato with the leg kicks and the body shots won him that round. And, you know, you could have given it to Crute, and then Crute would end up winning the fight because the first round was a 10-8. Third round, Crute was just completely exhausted. Hands were low. Footwork was worse than it was in the first round. Looked sloppy on the feet. Was still throwing back, but didn't have the power he had in the first round or even the first half of the second round. And then in the third round, he's just getting his leg battered. You know, he was just eating big shots. Both guys were landing, but you could see Crute's shots weren't having that much pop on them. There was a takedown from Bellato where they were in this weird, like, doggy-style position where Crute's, like, dragging him to the fence, and then eventually Bellato said, I'm too tired for this, and let him go. And then towards the end of the round, Bellato landed the bigger shots. I had it 2-3 for Bellato, and then round 1, 10-8 for Jimmy Crute, so I actually had it a draw as well. I didn't think the judges would probably get it. I was like, the judges are probably going to mess this up and not score something right. And even giving Bellato an undeserved decision, giving him 2-3 in round 1, 10-9. But they did get it right. 2 judges got it right. They scored it 28-28. Majority draw for, you know, there's nobody that won. I was about to say for blank. But yeah, Jimmy Crute, didn't he have like a draw or a no contest with Alonzo Menefield? I don't remember right off the top of my head, especially when it's damn near 5 a.m. But yeah, a draw between Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato. Fourth fight, or second fight in, however you want to put it, to the main card of a pay-per-view in 2025. Next fight on the card, featured fight on the card. We have Justin Tafa versus Talison Teixeira. I switched my pick during the prediction video. Otherwise, let's see, what would I have went? Of course, it doesn't show me anywhere. It does not show me anywhere. I don't. Okay, here it is. I had to maximize my Tapology screen for a second. I would have went 9 out of 12, and I would have got the full main card. I mean, technically a draw, but yeah, I would have went 9 out of 12 and got the full main card. But I switched my pick, and I picked Justin Tafa. I'm like, this chubby Australian might get it done. But yeah, Talison Teixeira landed a couple shots. There really wasn't much landed. Shot a takedown, backed Tafa up against the fence, landed a short elbow in the clinch, and Tafa fell like a fat sack of shit. Okay, let me stop. Tafa fell like a sack of potatoes, and then Teixeira landed like a couple ground and pound shots, and then that was it. I mean, what do you want me to say? We got Justin Tafa versus Talison Teixeira making his UFC debut on the main card of a pay-per-view featured fight. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, please. Teixeira gets it done first round KO. Wish I wouldn't have switched my pick. Mr. Long. Look how long this torso is. I would love to know the measurement from this belt line to the top of his head, to the crown of his head. I mean, that's got to at least be like, how tall is he? Let me see. Does it tell me how tall he is? I don't know. If he's 6'2" or 6'3", I mean, that's got to at least be 5.5 feet right here. Okay. These legs are only a foot long. Anyway, this was the funniest night of all time. Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez in the co-main event. Tatiana Suarez loses her title shot. Zhang Weili literally dominates her. It wasn't really close. For some reason, a lot of dumb people in the MMA community, combined with the fact that UFC pushes a certain, pushes certain promotion, they acted like Tatiana Suarez could win this fight. I never saw it in a million years. She never fights. She's not beaten anyone of she beat Jessica Andrade. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Oh my God, she beat Andrade. I mean, who else has Suarez beaten? I mean, she got gifted this title shot. She never deserved it. She's inactive. Oh, great. She's undefeated. Boo-hoo. If she beat Jessica Andrade in 2023. She beat Jessica Andrade August of 2023 to get a title shot in February of 2025. Now, granted, there really wasn't a number one contender. But, man, don't forget before that she beat Montana De La Rosa. She guillotined Montana De La Rosa. Oh, don't forget before that she beat Nina Nunes. Listen, first round you could give to Tatiana Suarez. I thought it was razor close. Tatiana Suarez got an early takedown. Literally just stalled on top. Weili eventually scrambled. Suarez looked for a guillotine. Ended up on bottom for the last minute and a half. And you had a little bit of ground and pound from Weili. And she threw some shots on the bottom as well. So I thought maybe you could give round 1 to Weili. But I don't think she did enough damage. So okay, give Suarez the first round because she had 3.5 minutes of control time with literally 0 damage. Second round, there was an early double leg from Tatiana Suarez. Weili defended well and ended up in full mount. And this is where Suarez ended up cutting open her knee against the fence, which is crazy. They don't have a good enough coating on that fence to not cut open her knee like that. which I think is going to end up being an excuse by some people. I don't know how anybody convinced themselves that Suarez was going to beat Weili. Anyway, Weili landed some good ground and pound. They eventually got back up. Weili's just tagging her with big right hands, just smashing her, hurt her badly, defending the weakest, ugliest, sloppiest, slowest double leg takedowns I've ever seen in my life from Suarez towards the end. Telegraphed is more a better description of it. Towards the end of the second round, clearly 10-9 for Weili. Third round, Weili's just wrecking her on the feet, lands a big right hand. Suarez plotting forward, her knee is bleeding. Slow, horrible takedowns are getting even worse. And even at the end of the third round, I took a note of this. I have notes that I take in case certain things happening around, like the cut in the second round of the knee. The third round, at the end of the third round, Suarez got in deep on a double leg. Weili easily defended it. Fourth round, Weili took her down off a clinch trip, got some good ground and pound, even looked for an arm triangle. And then fifth round, destroying her more. At one point, Weili tried to do... Remember when Leon Edwards tried to jump on Colby's back and ended up on bottom in the fifth? Weili almost did that same thing, but she was just too athletic and ended up on top, did some ground and pound, and she pretty much dominated. You could literally give the fifth round 10-8 to Weili Zhang. So Tatiana Suarez literally did absolutely nothing but maybe get the first round by stalling out on top with literally zero damage. Cut open her knee, got busted up in the striking, got busted up on the ground. She had absolutely no chance. She was just default title shot because no one else was there for Weili. Easy win for Weili. I can't believe they said she was the favorite. Let me go look at Tapology. I don't think that many people on Tapology could be that dumb. Yeah, 34% picked Suarez on Tapology. So the Tapology community wasn't that stupid. But the UFC just pushing this. Suarez got exposed badly. She looked horrible. I would say this is one of the worst title challengers I've seen in a while. But we got the main event to get to. So Weili Zhang defends her title. Potential going up to 125 next. We got Fior versus Valentina probably next, and then Weili Zhang could potentially fight for double belt status. I don't know who else you book her against. I really don't know right now because there's really not a lot of contenders for Weili Zhang. So she gets it done and dominates Tatiana Suarez. I thought she might get a finish, but yeah, Suarez literally had nothing to offer. You have Ariel Helwani hyping her up. You have the UFC hyping her up. They're like, man, Suarez, she's a Khabib Nurmagomedov type. She's got the wrestling credentials. I swear, every time somebody comes in with mark my words, when Aaron Pico comes to the UFC, he's a free agent. Because he's a former wrestler, they're going to hype him up. They did the same thing with Henry Cejudo. They did the same thing with Suarez. She fights like once every 8 years. I mean, literally, you know what is it? Presidential elections once every 4 years. Tatiana Suarez fights like once every presidential election. And I don't know how anyone comfortably picked her to beat Weili Zhang, who's been a dominant champion, two-time champion, only really lost to Rose. So, yeah, Suarez had a okay first round. After that, she got dominated. If we start hearing excuses about, oh, I was rusty, oh, my knee got cut open, and blah, 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 I don't want to hear it. Weili Zhang gets it done. Next fight on the card, we have Dricus Du Plessis, otherwise known, he has a new nickname. Sean Strickland gave him a new nickname. Daddy Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland 2 for the middleweight title. I've already done a dedicated breakdown, so I don't want to spend too much time. What a pathetic performance by Sean Strickland. He jabbed, he teeped, he jabbed, he teeped. Literally one of the most pathetic performances I've ever seen. Undeserved title shot. Split decision win over Paulo Costa to get an undeserved title shot. Ducked Robert Whittaker. All to show up and get his ass whooped by Dricus Du Plessis. Eric Nixick is in his corner begging him to fight. Man, you're doing the same thing as last time, Sean. You're jabbing and teeping, you're losing. Eric Nixick was literally begging this dude to fight. Please, Sean, fight. Please fight, Sean. You got a rematch that you didn't deserve after you never defended your belt against Dricus Du Plessis. Please fight. And he just didn't fight. He was down 4-0 heading into the fifth round. And he jabs and teeps. Meanwhile, the whole lead up, he's like, to the death. I'm going to bleed for you guys. By the way, he was bleeding. He was bleeding badly. So first round, Dricus Du Plessis head kicked him into oblivion, basically, like 4 or 5 head kicks. They weren't super impactful. Second round was the most competitive round of the fight because Strickland was landing some teeps, but Du Plessis was landing big shots, overhand rights, chopping the legs, chopping the body. Third round, Du Plessis started to pull out ahead. I think even the end of the third round had a quick takedown, but landed a spinning back fist and a spinning back elbow on Sean that Sean just ate as he did nothing but jab and teep again. Fourth round, Du Plessis landed a right hand that landed right on the nose that just busted up Sean. Sean ran. He turned and ran for his life. Refused to fight. backed away. I mean, he was getting booed out of the arena. I think it was in the 4th round. If not the 5th round, he was getting booed out for refusing to fight. In between each round, Eric Nicksick is like, don't let him bully you, son. You got to fight, son. You got to pull this one out of the fire, son. And Strickland's like getting angry with his corner. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I got Daddy Du Plessis over there, man. Here's the thing, guys. This dude is a piece of shit, garbage-ass, boring fighter. We wasted a title shot on this dude. It should have been Du Plessis versus Chimaev tonight. But instead, Sean Strickland gets Dana White privilege. Comes in with his pedo mustache, like father, like son. And jabs and teeps in a boring-ass fight. Boring-ass fight. Boring-ass. I mean, what are Du Plessis' 2 most boring fights his entire UFC career? Please tell me. It's Sean Strickland. The fact Du Plessis is getting booed out of the arena because Sean refuses to engage while he's getting his ass whooped like he's owed Du Plessis money is humiliating in a rematch that he sat out and begged for. I'm not fighting anyone unless I'm fighting for the title because I won. I got headbutted in the first fight. Du Plessis whooped his ass so badly that Eric Nicksick was begging him to fight back. Please, Sean, fight back. Let's go to war. To war, Sean. Imagine, his fan base must be in shambles. The incels, the racists, the Islamophobes. Hey, man, Muslims shouldn't be allowed in the U.S., man. Here's the thing, guys. I'm going to jab and teep. I'd rather deport Sean Strickland for jabbing and teeping and wasting a UFC pay-per-view that was already shit on paper. This dude jabbed and teeped. I'm so sick and tired of undeserved title shots, Dana White privilege, and what happens every single time? Whether it's Colby Covington or Sean Strickland, what happens every time we get an undeserved title shot because of Dana White privilege? Do you guys know? Let me know down in the comments. Quickly. They go out there and shit the bed and don't even try to fight. They're so privileged, they go out there and they don't even go out in there and try to fight. Du Plessis tried to walk Sean Strickland down. He did walk Sean Strickland down and beat the fuck out of him. Beat up his body, landed head kicks, landed big right hands, spinning back fists, spinning elbows. And meanwhile, Sean refuses to fight. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. Beta male soy boy behavior. You only go to war against influencers. You can't even drop, whoever that influencer was that was 150 pounds. You tried to drop him. You couldn't. You talk all this in the build-up. You talk about Hamzat because Dricus mentally broke you. You're too scared to say anything about Dricus. Then you go out there and shit the bed. I mean, completely humiliating and pathetic. But let's talk about Dricus for a second. Let's do something Dana didn't do at the post-fight presser. Let's praise Dricus. Dricus is a savage. Dricus' cardio is incredible for exploding the entire fight. Dricus really didn't grapple. He shot one takedown with like 10 seconds to go and got an easy takedown because he said it was there. And then afterwards, supposedly at the post-fight presser, he says that he wants Hamzat Chimaev next, which I absolutely love. That's the fight that needs to happen. Dricus Du Plessis versus Hamzat Chimaev should have been tonight. Shame on Dana White and the UFC for not making that tonight. Instead, we wasted time. We wasted a fight of Du Plessis' career to watch Sean Strickland go out there and not fight like a little bitch. That's a fact. I don't care what anyone says. He fought like a little bitch. He's supposed to be a UFC fighter. He puts on this tough guy act. He only gets attention because he's a racist piece of shit. An edgelord, essentially, is what he is. Oh, man, I'm gonna hate on women. I'm gonna hate on gays. I'm gonna hate on people's religions and this and that and blah, 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 blah. That's the only reason he has any fans, and he puts on the whole right-wing grift. Yeah, man, I love Trump. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, I'm gonna donate to him. Hell yeah, I'm gonna donate to a multi-billionaire. I'm gonna go to war for you guys. Dricus Du Plessis spanked his ass. He could have put Sean Strickland over his knee, pulled down his pants, and just start smacking his bare ass and degrading him. And Sean Strickland wouldn't have done anything but maybe try to jab and teep the next round afterwards. Down 4-0, doesn't even try to fight in the 5th round. Humiliating performance. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And I'm gonna go back full stream before I end this, okay? Du Plessis versus Chimaev better be next. It better be next, or I'm done with the sport. It's completely ruined. See you guys in the next video.